You know the feeling, right? That knot in your stomach, your thoughts are just racing, and you feel this crushing pressure. We call it stress. But what if I told you that feeling isn't some kind of flaw in your design? What if it's actually your greatest strength, your very own ancient superpower? And that quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It perfectly captures this huge paradox. The very same biological tool that evolved to save our ancestors from, being eaten, is now, in our modern world, the thing that's slowly wearing us down. It's the superpower that can help you crush a presentation, but it might also be the thing that's, well, killing you. So, here's what we're going to do. First, we'll dive into the ancient origins of this superpower. Then, we'll look at what it was actually built for, that classic fight-or-flight response. We'll unpack why it's become such a curse today, understand the serious price we pay for being stressed all the time, and then, this is the most important part, we'll figure out how to take back control. Okay, let's rewind, way back. You gotta understand, stress isn't a bug in your system, it's a feature. It's this incredibly powerful emergency program that evolved for one reason and one reason only, to keep you alive when you're staring danger right in the face. So, day to day, your body is always trying to maintain the state of perfect balance. It's called homeostasis. Think of it like the thermostat in your house, just constantly making tiny adjustments to keep everything running smoothly. But when a real threat shows up, stress is your body's yanking the fire alarm. It completely overrides all those normal settings to focus on just one thing: survival. To really get this, we're going to take a little trip. Picture this. It's 50,000 years ago, and we're going to meet one of your ancestors. Let's just call him the Bear Smasher. He's chilling by the fire with his family, everything's cool, when bam, a starving saber-toothed tiger leaps into the camp. This is the moment his superpower kicks in. Instantly, brain sees that tiger and screams, "Lethal threat." What happens next is just this incredible biological chain reaction. In less than a second, his adrenal glands flood his body with adrenaline. His heart and lungs go into absolute overdrive, pumping oxygen and fuel to his muscles. He gets stronger, he gets faster, and his senses become laser-focused on that predator. For these few critical moments, is a super version of himself. But wait, this isn't just a quick sprint. The tiger is relentless. That first adrenaline rush is great, but needs to survive a marathon, not just a 100-meter dash. So his body calls in the big guns, the strategic commander of the stress response. A second, slower but way more powerful hormone enters the fight: cortisol. Cortisol's job is all about ruthless efficiency. It issues orders to completely reroute all the body's energy for this long-term crisis. It dumps fuel into the system while shutting down everything that's not absolutely essential for survival right now. So things like your immune system, digestion, even growing and repairing cells, they all get put on pause. At this point, Her's body is no longer his own. It belongs completely to the stress response. And then it's over. Wins. The tiger is defeated. The threat is gone. His body finally gets the all-clear signal. The fight-or-flight system powers down, and its calming counterpart, the rest and digest system, kicks in. He's exhausted but safe. His body starts to repair, and balance is finally restored. That, right there, is how the whole system is supposed to work. So, how does that ancient survival programming work in our crazy modern world? Well, that's the thing. It doesn't. Not really. Our world has changed at lightning speed, but our biology, it's still running on software that's tens of thousands of years old. The stress response is exactly the same. But the tigers, well, they've changed. A lot. And this is where the huge mismatch happens. For the stressor was a tiger. It was a short-term, life-or-death physical threat. And how did he solve it? With intense physical action. For us, the tiger is an angry email from our boss. It's a looming deadline. It's our rent going up. These are psychological threats that can last for weeks or months, and there's no physical release. I mean, you can't exactly punch a deadline in the face, right? See, here's the kicker. Your brain, it kind of sucks at telling the difference. A tiger, an angry tweet, rush hour traffic. To that ancient part of your brain, it's all just threat. The problem is, we're not dealing with one big threat. We're dealing with dozens of these little paper tigers every single day, and they add up, creating this constant low-level hum of stress that never ever really turns off. Now, when that stress response stays activated for days or weeks or even months without any real resolution, it turns into something called chronic stress. This is when that fight or flight switch basically gets stuck in the on position. And honestly, It's one of the most dangerous states for a modern human to be in. And the price you pay for it is steep. With all that cortisol and adrenaline constantly pumping through your veins, those essential rest and repair functions never get a chance to do their job. Your muscles stay tense, leading to chronic pain and headaches. Your digestion gets all messed up. Cortisol tells your body to hoard energy as belly fat, which increases your risk for things like diabetes. Over time, it can literally damage your blood vessels, putting you at higher risk for a heart attack or a stroke. It's like your body is under a constant, invisible siege. And it's not just your body. Chronic stress literally rewires your brain. It makes you prioritize quick, knee-jerk reactive thinking instead of calm, rational problem solving. You get more impulsive, your memory gets worse, and here's the really cruel part, it makes you less effective at solving the very problems that are causing the stress in the first place. It's an absolutely vicious circle. Okay, I know, that all sounds pretty bleak, but here is the good news. It does not have to be this way. You are not doomed. We can actually learn to manage this ancient system. It's all about reclaiming that superpower and finally learning how to use it the way it was meant to be used. So, the big question is, what can you actually do about it? Let's get practical here, because there are absolutely things you can start doing right now to turn this whole ship around. Here's a simple 3-step way to think about it. First, just listen to your body. That feeling of being stressed out, it's a real signal. It's valid. Don't just ignore it and push through. Second, take a second and actually assess the stressor. Is this real? Is this a tiger? Or is it just a paper tiger? And third, and you have to hear me on this is non-negotiable, you have to actively switch off the alarm. Relaxation isn't some luxury. It's a biological necessity to end the stress cycle. And when I say active relaxation, I'm talking about things that complete that stress cycle. Remember how Ur dealt with his stress through physical action? Well, doing things like working out, or meeting up with friends, or even just going for a walk sends a powerful signal to your ancient brain that says, hey, the threat is gone, you are safe now. And that's what gives your rest and digest system the green light to finally take over and do its job. But let's be honest, the single most powerful way to deal with chronic stress is to just remove the source. I mean, really look at your life. Is endlessly scrolling through bad news stressing you out? Then maybe unfollow those accounts. Is your commute a nightmare? Maybe there's a different route you can take. Sometimes even small changes can have a huge, huge impact. But sometimes you can't just walk away from the stressor. I get it. Sometimes your brain is just so stuck in that survival mode that you literally can't see a way out. And in those moments, the most powerful, most strategic move you can possibly make is to ask for help. Reaching out to a friend, a family member, a professional, that is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're smart enough to know that even a superhero needs a team. Look, life is always going to throw challenges at you. That's just a given. But you have to remember, the stress response itself isn't the enemy. It's an incredibly powerful tool that's designed to help you rise to those challenges. So the only question that really matters is the one you have to ask yourself. Are you using your superpower, or is it using you?